Hi everyone, welcome to Wow Stories. I am Miss Wow. On January 26, 2020, at 9:47 a.m. Pacific Time, the local police in Los Angeles received a call about a plane crash in Calabasas. Residents near the scene of the accident first heard the roar of the plane engine, and then two huge explosions, which immediately caused a raging fire and thick smoke in the nearby jungle. Soon, Kobe died in a plane crash, became major media headlines. His fans prayed in astonishment, hoping that the media outlets had gotten it wrong. However, the validity of the news was later confirmed by both the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and the Lakers. Kobe was gone, and a legendary superstar in the history of the NBA had fallen. His family, friends, and countless fans were filled with grief, yet at the same time, they couldn't help but harbor doubts about this tragic accident. Kobe had always traveled safely across various parts of the U.S. in his privately leased helicopter, so why did it suddenly crash? For a while, there were many conspiracy theories. Some people said that it was not an accident at all, and some found it suspicious that the helicopter hovered in the air for more than 10 minutes before its crash. Others wondered why Kobe's helicopter wasn't equipped with a black box. In today's video, we'll go through the details of the accident and attempt to unravel the mystery surrounding Kobe's helicopter crash. On August 23, 1978, Kobe Bryant was born in Philadelphia, United States. He was the youngest of 3 children and the only boy in his family. The name Kobe comes from the Japanese city of Kobe. It is said that when Kobe's mother was pregnant with him, she became a regular at a Japanese restaurant in Philadelphia, and she loved the Kobe beef there, so she named her youngest son Kobe. If his parents had known Kobe would one day become a sports legend, perhaps they would have chosen his name with more care. Kobe's father, Joe Bryant, was also a very talented basketball player who spent 8 years in the NBA. Kobe shared his father's talent and was recognized throughout the States for his skills by the time he was in high school. To concentrate more on his game, he chose to bypass college and enter the NBA directly. He was 17 that year and was the 6th person in history to do so. Kobe said that while others go to college to gain knowledge, because they want to become the best doctors, lawyers, or something else, his goal was to become the best basketball player in the world. Therefore, his school should be the basketball court. Upon joining the NBA, Kobe said something that later became widely known. I, Kobe Bryant, have decided to take my talents to the NBA. Kobe had been crazy about the Lakers since he was a child. For him, the Lakers jersey was sacred, and he dreamed of battling on the court wearing this golden armor. When he was 18, his dream came true. He was selected to join the Lakers. In November 1999, Kobe met Vanessa, the love of his life, on the set of a music film. At that time, Kobe was already an NBA star player, while Vanessa was just a 17-year-old high school sophomore. To support her family, Vanessa had to work after school as a band dancer and background model. The two fell in love at first sight and became crazy about each other. Vanessa's mother is of Spanish descent and her father Irish and Mexican. With an hourglass figure and a radiant, healthy complexion, she's an incredibly attractive person. However, due to the disparity in family backgrounds and the fact that Kobe's parents wanted him to marry within his own community, this relationship was not blessed by Kobe's family from the beginning. Kobe ultimately broke with his family and chose to marry Vanessa on April 18, 2001. There were only 12 guests at their wedding, all of whom were either Vanessa's family members or Kobe's bodyguards. In January 2003, Kobe and Vanessa had their first daughter, and Vanessa also became closer to Kobe's family. Kobe had just turned 24 that year, and he already had 3 championship rings. With a beautiful wife, a lovely daughter, and a successful career, everything seemed to be going so well for him. However, everything took a turn when he became embroiled in a sex scandal in the summer of 2006. On June 30, 2006, Kobe checked into a hot springs hotel in Eagle County. On July 1st, a waitress at the hotel reported to the local police that Kobe had assaulted her. The police promptly issued an arrest warrant, and Kobe was granted bail only after paying a substantial sum. A lawsuit followed that extended over a year. Kobe admitted that he did have sex with the waitress, but claimed that it was consensual. Vanessa was pregnant at the time and miscarried, likely due to the significant mental turmoil caused by the lawsuit. Kobe took full responsibility, acknowledging that the miscarriage was a result of his actions. He didn't make any excuses. In the end, Kobe paid a high compensation of $5 million in exchange for the waitress to drop the case. But even so, Vanessa still chose to stand by her husband. She attended the press conference with Kobe, stating her belief in her husband's innocence and pledging unwavering support no matter what. After that, Kobe had Vanessa's name tattooed on his arm to symbolize his absolute loyalty to his wife. In 2003, Kobe had the darkest time in his career as a basketball player. He expressed feeling like he had plummeted from the apex to the abyss over the past year, unable to envision any future for himself. His conduct became a topic of conversation everywhere, with even his own fans turning against him. To regain his focus on the court and block out external noise and distractions, Kobe created the name Black Mamba for himself. The Black Mamba, known as the most terrifying, vicious, and venomous snake on the African savanna, is also exceptionally fast and adaptable. Kobe aspired to embody the resilience and determination of the Black Mamba, thriving in adversity and achieving remarkable feats without ever backing down or yielding. In the first half of his Lakers career, Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal played together and won 3 NBA championships, but the two were soon said to dislike each other. In the summer of 2004, O'Neal was traded to the Miami Heat, and Lakers head coach Phil Jackson retired. Debates arose regarding Kobe's involvement in O'Neal's departure and Jackson's retirement. Kobe faced significant public criticism until the Lakers invited Jackson back in 2015, reportedly at Kobe's personal request. After Jackson's return, Kobe actively worked to mend fences with him. Kobe experienced a career resurgence in 2009 and 2010, leading the Lakers to 2 consecutive championship victories. His skill and contribution to the team were unquestionable. Even those who hated him had to acknowledge his true strength. However, as time went on and new generations of talent emerged, even the icon faced the challenge of maintaining his dominance on the court. On April 13, 2013, in the game between the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, Kobe suffered a ruptured Achilles tendon that was enough to put an end to his career. Despite the excruciating pain, he managed to return to the court and delivered 2 free throws. After the game, a reporter asked him how he was able to stand on the free throw line with such a serious injury. Kobe elaborated by sharing a story. Imagine you're at home recovering from an injury, then suddenly your house catches fire. Your children are upstairs and your wife is busy with something else. So what are you gonna do? I bet you will forget about the pain, rush upstairs to get your children, bring your wife, and get out of the burning house. Kobe said that basketball meant more to him than a torn Achilles tendon. He didn't even feel the pain in that moment. A reporter once asked Kobe why he was so successful, and he instead asked the reporter, "Have you seen Los Angeles at 4 a.m.?" This quote later became a classic from Kobe. On April 14, 2016, Kobe concluded his basketball career with a memorable performance. Despite no longer being a young player, he displayed the skill and vigor of his prime. He made 22 of 50 shots, scoring 60 points and leading the Lakers to a comeback victory against the Jazz. Following the game, Kobe, drenched in sweat, stood at center court clutching a microphone and declared to the entire arena, "Mamba out." As he set the microphone down, the arena erupted in thunderous applause, marking a perfect end to his basketball career. This farewell moment, immortalized by his iconic quote, "Mamba out," has become a timeless scene in NBA history.
You guys will always be in my heart, and I sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. What can I say? Mamba out.
After retiring, Kobe once said that if basketball is still his greatest achievement 20 years later, then he'd see himself as a failure. Just like the Black Mamba, Kobe was never going to stop fighting. Sure, his physical game might have slowed down with age, but he carried that Mamba mentality into every aspect of his life. In 2013, Kobe founded his investment company, Kobe Inc. A year later, he put $6 million into the sports drink brand Body Armor, snagging a 10% stake. Back then, Body Armor was just a small player in the sports beverage industry, with annual sales of only $3 million. But Kobe used his influence, leveraging his connections to promote the brand. He even secured an endorsement from James Harden, the 2017-18 NBA MVP, Most Valuable Player. By August 2018, Coca-Cola jumped on board, and Body Armor's brand value skyrocketed. Sales shot up by over 90% in 2017, hitting $400 million in 2018. By 2020, Body Armor's market value was nearing $3 billion, but Kobe didn't stop there. He continued to invest in more than 10 companies in tech, media, and data. In 2018, he released his autobiography, The Mamba Mentality: How I Play, giving fans a glimpse into his world and his love for basketball. Off the court, Kobe became a gentler, more family-focused man. He and his wife Vanessa have 4 daughters. The eldest, Natalia, inherited her mom's beauty, while the second daughter, Jana, was a natural on the basketball court, just like her dad. After retiring, Kobe spent a lot of time training Jana, watching her games, and even coaching her team. In an interview, Kobe mentioned that once when they were out, a fan came up to him and said, "You gotta have a boy to carry on your basketball legacy." Gianna, quick as ever, waved her hand and said, "I've got this. We don't need a boy. I am the one." Kobe laughed and said to her, "That's right. You are the one."
When we go out and fans will come up to me and she'll be standing next to me and they'll be like, "Hey, you gotta have a boy. You and V gotta have a boy, man. You have somebody carry on the tradition, the legacy." She's like, "Oh, I got this."
Gianna had always followed in her dad's footsteps, dreaming of one day becoming a professional basketball player. Kobe perhaps also imagined that his daughter would one day become part of the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association. But tragically, those dreams were extinguished on January 26, 2020. On January 25, 2020, the Lakers played an away game against the 76ers in Philadelphia. During the third quarter, Lakers small forward LeBron James officially surpassed Kobe in total career points, moving up to third highest in NBA history. That night, Kobe congratulated LeBron on Twitter, now X, saying, "Continuing to move the game forward. Much respect, my brother." That tweet turned out to be his last. Kobe chose not to return to Philadelphia for this historic moment because he had a more pressing commitment the next day, accompanying his daughter Gianna to the Mamba Cup tournament series, where he served as both organizer and head coach of the team. On the morning of January 26th, a Sikorsky S-76B helicopter named N-72EX arrived at the boarding point near Kobe's mansion. At 8:29 a.m., before setting off, Kobe sent a text to Sharif O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal's eldest son, who had just turned 20. Kobe wrote, "You good, fam?" Sharif, busy with his morning workout, didn't see the message until 10:58 a.m. He replied, "Yeah, just been getting this work and trying to figure out my next move. How you been?" Little did he know at the time of his reply that Kobe would never see this message. Kobe was on the flight with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, her teammate, Alyssa Altobelli, and Alyssa's parents, John and Carrie Altobelli. John was a legendary baseball coach at Orange Coast College. Kobe lived in Orange County for many years and spent even more time there after retiring, where he met and became close friends with the Altobelli family. In 2018, when Kobe announced the opening of the Mamba Sports Academy, John Altobelli was very supportive. Also on the helicopter were Gianna's other teammate Peyton Chester, Peyton's mother Sarah Chester, Mamba Academy coach Christina Mauser, and the pilot Ara Zabayan. The helicopter took off from John Wayne Airport in Orange County at 9:06 a.m., heading for Camarillo Airport near the Mamba Sports Academy. It's about 140 kilometers away, roughly an hour's drive, but Kobe preferred to travel by helicopter as usual. Los Angeles is notorious for its traffic, and Orange County, where Kobe lived, is part of Greater Los Angeles. Kobe stopped commuting by car a decade ago. He once mentioned in an interview that flying by helicopter allowed him to reach places in 15 minutes, giving him more time with his family. The N-72X helicopter, built in 1991, was owned by Island Express and leased to Kobe long-term. Despite the tragic crash, the helicopter's security and reliability were previously unquestioned. Sikorsky, the manufacturer, is renowned in the aviation world, and its founder, Igor Sikorsky, is known as the father of modern helicopters. Sikorsky helicopters are used by the U.S. President's Marine One fleet, including the VH-3, H-3 Sea King, and VH-60, UH-60 Black Hawk. The S-76 model, which Kobe had used, is based on the same technology as the Black Hawk helicopter built for the U.S. Army in 1972. The British royal family also uses the S-76 series. Some people wondered why there wasn't a black box on Kobe's helicopter. It's because commercial helicopters aren't required to have one. Instead, the pilot has a tablet that records essential data like weather, flight routes, and flight information. The pilot of the fatal flight, Ara Zobayan, was 50 years old and had an incredible flying record of 8,000 hours, including 1,150 hours in Sikorsky S-76 helicopters. Total flight time is crucial in assessing a pilot's technical proficiency. To put this into perspective, the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, limits pilots to 1,400 flight hours per year, so accumulating 8,000 hours indicates at least 6 to 8 years of flying experience. Many helicopter pilots never reach this milestone in their entire careers, often accruing around 4,000 hours of flight time. Achieving over 8,000 hours and still continuing to fly is exceptionally rare. Given the high safety standards of the helicopter and the pilot's extensive experience, what could have caused Kobe's helicopter to crash? We can find out more from the recordings of the conversation between the pilot and the air traffic controllers before the helicopter went down. According to the flight path released by the police, the helicopter took off from John Wayne Airport at 9:06 a.m. Initially, everything was smooth as the helicopter flew steadily over downtown Los Angeles and Dodger Stadium, both areas with flat terrain. Official data showed the visibility was about 4 miles at that time. However, around 9:20 a.m., as the helicopter flew over Glendale, conditions worsened. The terrain became hilly along both sides of the flight path, and fog began to set in, limiting visibility to just 1.5 miles. The situation grew dire. The helicopter circled near Burbank Airport for over 10 minutes. Some local reports suggested it was waiting for better weather, but from the recorded conversations, it became evident that Zobayan was hovering near Burbank Airport to seek help from the Burbank Tower. He hoped to hold outside the Burbank Class C airspace and receive guidance to reroute the flight. Originally, Zobayan planned to follow Highway 101 to reach their destination, Camarillo Airport. But with heavy fog in Burbank and Van Nuys, the original route was no longer feasible. After receiving Zobayan's call, the Burbank Tower informed him that the current flight conditions in Burbank's Class C airspace were IFR, Instrument Flight Rules, and then asked him to state his intentions. Zobayan requested to maintain special VFR status and switch to the west side of Highway 101. The tower then asked him to wait outside the Class C airspace because another plane was making a go-around.
72 Echo X-ray, Burbank Tower, Burbank altimeter 3019, Burbank Class Charlie, surface area is IFR, say intentions.
Yes, we can maintain special VFR transition on the 101 westbound 2.
November 2 Echo X-ray, hold outside Burbank Class Charlie airspace. I have an aircraft going around.
2 Echo X-ray, holding.
Class C airspace functions like a temporary stop zone for planes. Before Zobayan can enter, he must contact the relevant air traffic control personnel to check for availability. This is why the tower instructed Zobayan to wait. To understand their conversation, we need to grasp a few concepts. The FAA categorizes flight rules into 3 main types: visual flight rules, VFR, special VFR, and instrument flight rules, IFR. VFR, or visual flight rules, simply means to judge the distance to obstacles and the flight attitude entirely through the pilot's visual observation. This requires great weather conditions, with visibility of at least 3 miles. The aircraft must also maintain a 500-foot clearance below cloud height to prevent the pilot from inadvertently entering clouds and ensure they can maintain visual contact with ground obstacles. Special VFR can be seen as a discounted version of VFR. With approval from air traffic controllers, helicopters can fly in visibility conditions ranging from 1 to 3 miles as long as they remain below the clouds. Because special VFR weather conditions are marginal, approaching the limits of acceptable flight requirements, companies usually advise against flying in these conditions for safety reasons. If weather conditions worsen, the pilot must switch to IFR, or instrument flight rules, relying on cockpit instruments to determine flight status and position. Typically, large passenger airplanes adhere to IFR procedures. However, it's important to note that Island Express, the company operating Kobe's N-72EX helicopter, did not hold an IFR license. Therefore, the FAA did not permit them to conduct flights under IFR. Therefore, from a safety perspective, Zobayan should have returned to base, but instead, he opted for a special VFR flight. According to the official accident investigation report, Kobe also used the helicopter the afternoon before the incident. After flying Kobe back to Orange County, Zobayan texted him about the weather conditions for the next day's flight. He mentioned that while the weather wouldn't be ideal, it wouldn't be as bad as that day. This suggests that Zobayan had likely flown in poor weather conditions multiple times before and had considerable experience handling marginal weather. He believed that everything would be under control. However, as the saying goes, those who drown are often those who know how to swim. At 9:27, the Burbank Tower set a new route for the helicopter. The controller mentioned they had communicated with the nearby Van Nuys Airport, which was busy with several IFR planes taking off. So, they suggested Zobayan fly north along Interstate 5 and then switch to Highway 118. This way, he could avoid the foggy areas around Burbank and Van Nuys. The Burbank Tower told Zobayan to maintain special VFR conditions and keep the altitude below 2,500 feet. They asked if he planned to continue along Highway 118, and Zobayan confirmed, saying he'd fly along 118 to bypass Van Nuys, then switch back to Highway 101. This suggests he was quite familiar with the route ahead. Then the Burbank Tower handed the helicopter over to Van Nuys Tower, providing the frequency for their channel, 119.
November 2 Echo X-ray, and for your planning purposes, you can expect to transition to the north side of the airport. I just spoke with Van Nuys on the line, and they've got multiple IFR departures coming off of runway 16, so you can expect to follow the 5 north and cross that way.
2 Echo X-ray, no problem.
Follow the 5 freeway, maintain special VFR conditions at or below 2,500.
Maintain special VFR at or below 2,500 I-5 northbound 2 Echo X-ray.
X-ray, for your transition to Camarillo, did you just want to follow the 118?
118, and then we'll loop around Van Nuys to catch the 101 2 Echo X-ray.
The 2 Echo X-ray, roger.
The following dialogue between Zobayan and the Van Nuys Tower revealed some crucial information.
Van Nuys helicopter 2 Echo X-ray with you for the special VFR transition. We are currently at 1400.
Helicopter 72 Echo X-ray Van Nuys Tower. Wind calm, visibility 2 1/2, feeling 1,100 overcast, Van Nuys altimeter 3016. Cleared into Van Nuys class Delta, northeast of Van Nuys along the 118 freeway westbound. Advise when you're in VFR conditions or when you're clear of the Van Nuys class Delta. Transition at or below 2,500 permitting.
2 Echo X-ray, advise in VFR condition, and then we'll stay on the 118, we're currently at 1400, and we have 0235.
Helicopter 2 Echo X-ray, thank you. And once you clear Van Nuys Delta, did you want to talk to SoCal?
Affirmative, 2 Echo X-ray.
At 9:33, the helicopter began to fly north along Interstate 5. At 9:37, it switched from I-5 to Highway 118 and made contact as it approached the Van Nuys Tower. According to the Van Nuys Tower, visibility was 2.5 miles, cloud ceiling 1,100 feet, and overcast conditions. Zobayan responded that he was flying at 1,400 feet, above the cloud ceiling, which violated the special VFR rules. However, this was not the primary cause of the accident. The Van Nuys Tower also inquired whether Zobayan wanted to contact Southern California TRACON, SoCal, upon reaching Van Nuys Airport, and he agreed. At 9:39, Zobayan requested to turn south to transition from Highway 118 to Highway 101.
Report 2 Echo X-ray, can we go ahead and start turning to the southwest close to 101?
Helicopter 2 Echo X-ray, approved, and are you transitioning in VFR condition?
Something to note is that the Van Nuys Tower approved Zobayan's request to switch to Highway 101 and asked if he was flying under VFR conditions. Zobayan confirmed, stating he was at 1,500 feet. This indicated that by the time they were preparing to transition to Highway 101, the weather had improved. As the pilot, Zobayan knew that the special VFR conditions had transitioned into standard VFR conditions. With a clear plan of the route and encountering improved weather conditions, Zobayan pressed on without hesitation. At 9:40, Zobayan contacted SoCal, indicating the helicopter was en route to Camarillo Airport.
SoCal helicopter 72 Echo X-ray with you transitioning in VFR condition at 1,500 to Camarillo.
Helicopter 72 Echo X-ray SoCal approach, roger, and you're just going to stay down low at that for all the way to Camarillo?
Yes, sir, low altitude 2 Echo X-ray.
2 Echo X-ray, roger. I'm going to lose radar and comms with you probably pretty shortly, so you can just squawk VFR, and when you get closer, go to Camarillo Tower.
Copy that, we'll squawk VFR to Echo.
SoCal asked Zobayan to adjust the squawk code or the transponder code to 1200, indicating that the helicopter was flying under VFR conditions. At this point, the helicopter was at an altitude of 1,520 feet, 570 feet above the ground. At 9:42, the helicopter began flying along Highway 101, with the Santa Monica Mountains visible ahead. The terrain was steep, and the low cloud ceiling restricted the airspace. 2 minutes later, at 9:44, Zobayan ascended 1,000 feet in just 36 seconds to avoid a collision with the mountains. Simultaneously, he informed SoCal that he was ascending above the clouds and requested flight guidance. Pilots frequently seek flight guidance in severe weather or challenging terrain to receive early warnings about potential obstacles from air traffic controllers.
SoCal 4 helicopter to Echo X-ray. We're going to go ahead and start our climb to go above the layers, and we're going to stay with you here.
2 Echo X-ray, where are you?
Just west of Van Nuys to Echo X-ray.
2 Echo X-ray ident.
Ident.
2 Echo X-ray, yeah, you're still on a 1200 code. Are you requesting flight following?
Yes, sir, 2 Echo X-ray.
SoCal asked for the helicopter's specific location and instructed Zobayan to press the ident button on the transponder. When the ident button is pressed, the aircraft flashes twice on ATC radar, allowing controllers to confirm its location and begin monitoring its movements. At 9:45:10, the helicopter climbed to 2,270 feet, then abruptly veered left and began descending rapidly.
2 Echo X-ray, what are the intentions?
We're climbing to 4,002 Echo X-ray.
At 9:45:24, Zobayan informed SoCal that the helicopter was climbing to 4,000 feet, but controllers noticed that it was actually plummeting, and Zobayan was completely unaware. At 9:45:38, SoCal informed Zobayan that the helicopter was flying so low that they could no longer provide the flight guidance. There was no response.
2 Echo X-ray, you're still too low level for flight following at this time. 2 Echo X-ray, SoCal.
After several unsuccessful calls, the helicopter lost contact completely. The radar at the control center showed the last detected altitude was 1,900 feet, descending at a speed of 314 kilometers per hour. At 9:47, the helicopter crashed into the Santa Monica Mountains in Calabasas, California, killing everyone on board. In February 2021, the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, released its official accident investigation report. It concluded that the fundamental cause of the crash was pilot Zobayan's unauthorized entry into the clouds, resulting in spatial disorientation. On the day of the incident, visibility at the site of the crash in the Calabasas area was only 1 to 1.5 miles. Despite this, Zobayan flew the helicopter up to 2,370 feet. In foggy conditions, pilots can easily lose their sense of orientation without visual reference points. For example, even when the aircraft is flying normally, the pilot's brain might perceive it as tilted. They could mistake the ocean for the sky or a boat for a star. When visibility is lost, the human brain no longer trusts the instruments and tends to rely more on intuition and gut feeling. This explains why Zobayan believed they were gaining altitude when, in reality, the helicopter was plummeting. The NTSB report also addressed a pressing question for many. Why didn't Zobayan turn back in such severe weather conditions? According to the NTSB, Zobayan's close personal relationship with Kobe led him to press on and insist on completing the journey. Additionally, the report revealed that back in May 2015, Zobayan had requested visual flight in extremely low visibility conditions. Despite air traffic control denying his request, he proceeded into the airspace. This incident led to an investigation by the FAA and subsequent disciplinary action against Zobayan. This earlier incident, 5 years ago, likely bolstered Zobayan's overconfidence in handling marginal weather conditions. After the crash, Kobe's widow Vanessa filed a lawsuit against Island Express. She alleged that the company lacked a comprehensive management system and failed to enforce strict rules halting flights under poor visibility conditions. On the day of the crash, All other VFR, visual flight rules flights in the Calabasas area, including those of police and fire helicopters, were grounded. The N-72X, the aircraft Kobe was on, was the sole VFR flight in operation that day. Before January 26, 2020, Kobe was an ever-constant presence in people's lives. On January 25th, he took photos with the children at the Mamba Cup tournament and told them, "Come back tomorrow for my autograph." Christina Mauser, an assistant coach on the helicopter with Kobe, left behind her husband and 3 children. JJ and Alexis Altobelli lost their parents and sister overnight. Life is unpredictable. No one ever knows what will come first, tomorrow or an accident. After Kobe's passing, fans gathered spontaneously at the Staples Center, home of the Los Angeles Lakers, to lay flowers in his memory. Los Angeles International Airport was also illuminated in Lakers purple. A fan shared, "When I was young, I used to say Kobe was my hero. He inspired me to pursue what I loved, no matter what others said. Whenever I wanted to give up, I remembered his words. If someone has to be the best, why can't it be me? He motivated me to be the first to turn on the lights and the last to shut the door every day, because he'd seen Los Angeles at 4 a.m. Kobe may be gone, but Black Mamba's story lives on. Heroes come and go, but legends are forever. Mamba out, Mamba never out." That's all for today. I'll see you in the next video.